When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you. BJ Rains and John Mallory with you. This is Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com, the social media channels of Bronco Nation News and KTIK 95.3 FM, The Ticket. It's Monday, so with our partnership over at KTIK, we got John Mallory here, host of Prater in the Ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk, weekdays 3 to 6. He's there in the RowPaint.com studios in downtown Boise. John Mallory, happy Monday, man. How's it going?
Is this the final Monday where there's no actual live football to cover? A week from today, they're getting ready for camp, right? Maybe we have one more Monday, BJ, but holy smokes, dude, it's getting close. Think about that for a second, right?
I mean, technically, we already have NFL training camps underway, so at least we made it from that standpoint. But if you're talking specifically Boise State, yes, they will start next Wednesday. So we are 9 days away from the start of fall camp. But we're going to get you. This is kind of that lull. There's not much going on this week, Johnny, at least on the Boise State front. We had the media days last week. Don't expect any media availability until kind of maybe Monday or Tuesday next week with some of the assistant coaches, Coach Avalos. So we got to get you through this week, and then we're kind of there. And we'll have, football coverage for BSU and then basketball coverage literally starting like next Monday or Tuesday all the way through the spring game in April pretty much. So it's crazy how quickly it comes. But this week might seem a little long, at least for Boise State fans.
I think so too. But, Boise State fans are ready for this season, right? That taste left in the program's mouth after that season, not getting a chance to participate in that bowl game. A lot of times a bowl game can get that taste out of your mouth on a 7-5 season, right? You win that bowl game, you're 8-5, you head into the off season with a little bit more of a skip to your step, if you will, BJ. And they didn't get to do that last year. So I think Bronco Nation, man, I know we're hearing from them on our show too. They are ready for this season. Oregon State, Corvallis, a stadium halfway under construction. That's going to be so weird, but they're ready, BJ. So am I.
Hey, before we go any further, I want to remind folks you can download the podcast, the audio version of this on iTunes. Just go to iTunes, search Bronco Nation News. You can get the audio versions a couple hours after the show each day. Download it if you're in the car or driving, and the audio version is better for you. If you're listening to this on the audio version later, we appreciate that as well. And also, don't forget the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Bronco Nation News, as well as the YouTube channel for KTIK 95.3 The Ticket as well. I know they're posting daily content. I'll have daily content as well. You can watch all the live shows on there. We'll be posting all the press conference interviews and after practice interviews in their entirety to our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, and as they say, my kid always says, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We appreciate it, and you can set that notification if you hit the bell so you'll know when we're live. Johnny, can you hear me okay?
Was that a landline that I just heard ring?
Nope, that's the Scam Likely on my. That was the cell phone here.
Okay,
I have it set up for the old school kind of ringer, but
nice, man.
Scam Likely calls 4 or 5 times a day these days. So,
yeah, I get 4 or 5 spams too.
It's crazy. But can you hear? But can you? Before we go any further, can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine, man. Coming in loud and clear.
I think it sounds okay to folks because I got an email this morning from V. And I had to put this on the screen here, Johnny, because V was not happy with us last week at Media Days. He said he looked forward to Media Days all week, as in years past, and no audio for the first 5 minutes, not unlike the same type of issues when you're on KTIK. By the way, I don't think I've ever once had an audio issue when I've been on KTIK, so screw this guy. But I'm retired and consider myself a pretty easygoing guy. I have zero patience with folks who can't do their job, be it you or a tech person setting this up. I don't want a lengthy explanation or apology. Just get your bleep together or you will lose my support.
Yeah.
Spelled loose wrong there.
Did you respond to him?
I have not yet. I'm not sure what I should say, but he says best V.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I blocked out the email there, but some people, Johnny, just can't be happy, I guess.
Well, he's an easygoing guy, man. I'd hate to read an email when he's not, easygoing, right? When he's actually a little upset about something. Might be a different tone, BJ. We all saw what happened. There was 5 minutes where something wasn't turned on.
And let me say that was like literally the worst 5 minutes. If you didn't think I knew that was going on and had nothing I could do, that was like the worst 5 minutes of my life. Do you tell Jeremiah Dickey and Jay, hold on a second, the audio's not working, we got to start over? Would that be more embarrassing than having to have the audio issue? I'm sure at some point during one of your broadcasts growing up, you've done broadcasts for 20 years or whatever, there had to have been one time where your audio wasn't working and you knew it. Do you stop it? Do you try to get it working behind the scenes while it's going? Yes, it was a disaster. I didn't know what to do. But we, Colin Mitchell, behind the scenes, literally on that case, Johnny, it was unplugging it and plugging it back in. That somehow it just started working, which is sometimes the case. But yes, it was horrible. But there were no issues the rest of the time. It was great. It was our first time doing kind of the multi-camera setup. But I love the feedback, and I appreciate V for reaching out. And if we would lose his support, not lose support, he spelled it wrong. One of his many grammar issues in there. You guys do
frustrated, man. He was typing quick, I guess, man.
You guys do your feedback finale, but you never get ripped. It's all positive for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, right, dude. Get off it, man. We get ripped all the time, man. All the time. It's part of the business when you do this, and you know this very well too. All the hate mail you've received and whatnot. You can either let it slide off and not worry about it, or you can worry about it and add that to the list of things in life that you worry about. These jobs are interesting where, you're in the public. People can say you suck at the grocery store or driving by you. I hate you. Get out of here. You're too loud. You're annoying. Shut up, dude. I get that all the time. It used to bug me. And right now, it really doesn't as much.
No, that didn't bug me at all. Actually, I kind of chuckled, which is why I wanted to put it on the screen real quick. And I wasn't doing it to get support of the listeners, but hey, folks saying, thanks, V, for being grumpy. Hey, V, take a lap, bud. Ignore the noise. V,
take
get a
lap with some Mr. Woodcock reference. Well done.
V, get a life. We appreciate the support, positive or negative. And Johnny, as we've talked about many times, I'm still learning this whole podcast video thing. I'm still a writer at heart, so we're trying to make this work. And I think we're moving forward. We'll be in a better place. But if there are issues, which I'm sure there will be, please let me know about it and rip me. I'd be happy to hear it. Johnny, Media Days, I want to hear a Taylen Green quote. I was going to play this from Andy Avalos with Prater on Friday, but we got through the whole show and didn't have time to get to it. Before I get to the Taylen Green quote and we talk about Taylen Green, what was your kind of takeaway from Boise, from Media Days? Anything that stood out from Commissioner Thompson, or anything you heard about Avalos or the position changes, or what was just your general takeaway from the happenings last week down in Vegas?
Yeah, one word. It starts with an F, BJ, and I'm glad we're on the internet so I can say this right now. Focus. Okay, no, these guys looked focused, from Avalos to OJ to Matlock. Hell, Craig Thompson always looks focused too, but, from the Avalos videos I saw on Bronco Nation News, he's ready to go. He knows the 7-5 isn't acceptable. I think he's done everything in his power this offseason to right this ship and get Boise State back to a high volume win total. I like that about Andy Avalos. I always have. He's just all business, man. Remember when I went up to him and I said something about my girlfriend or something? He's like, shut up, man. I'm talking football right now. I mean, he is business, and you can tell Scott Matlock and OJ were the same way. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from Coach Avalos in that regard, BJ. He's fired up. He's ready to go. He's all business. He's focused, BJ. And him, like all of us, we want to get this season going, man.
Can we tell the folks what you actually told Andy Avalos about your girlfriend?
Really? I went up to him. I thought it was a casual deal. And I said, hey, man, my girlfriend thinks you're the hottest coach in the country. And he said, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to talk about that right now." Yeah, I don't remember exactly what
No,
he
he
said.
chuckled or something. He was nice about it.
Yeah, but he was like, "Come on, man, I don't want to talk about
But
this."
then he
man."
goes, "You guys see what Ashton's doing or something?" He changed the topic pretty quickly.
Yeah, he did. It was fun, but that's the type of dude he is, and got to win some games this year. I think you're on the record saying 10 plus wins. I haven't made my official prediction yet this season with this team. Last year, I think I was 10 wins. Prater was at 9. Both of us missed that. But I think this year, I think the schedule breaks for them a little better, BJ. But you got to be 1-0. And I would say this real quick. That's probably Coach Avalos' message right now, right? Just 1-0, right? Get to Corvallis, beat them in a stadium under construction, and get ready for, what is that, UTEP week 2, BJ? Am I looking at the schedule wrong on that?
Yeah, you are looking at it wrong. It's Albuquerque.
It's Albuquerque. Yeah, UTEP's what, week 4 then?
Yeah, I was gonna say you go if you try to go 1-0, then you're going 4-0.
It looks like it, right? I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't go 1-0 if they're not 4-0, right? I mean, the schedule just is going to break that way. And if they're 4-0 and it looks really good, I wonder where they're going to be on a top 25 receiving votes type of area, because obviously that's a cupcake, cream puff, lollygag schedule. A lot of schools are doing that. A lot of schools have those schedules early on. Get to 4-0, get some receiving votes, maybe be ready to crack the top 25, which I don't believe they've been in an AP poll, BJ, in the COVID year. Were they in there at all? Maybe at the beginning of the season, or was it 2019? The last time Boise State was ranked during a season.
I think last year was the first year they had not been ranked in like 10 plus years or
for the entire year.
Maybe the preseason, the COVID poll, or at some point during that season, I think they were in it, because I think last year was the first year they weren't.
Gotcha. Well, here I'm talking about Avalos just needs to focus on 1-0 when he is. And then me and you were starting to, put W's and L's on the schedule already on whatever date it is. What day is it? The 25th?
It is the 25th. Yep.
This is my last week before my big annual vacation, BJ. So
is that why I got to fill in maybe for a day or two next week?
Yeah, you are filling in for me. Okay. So you're like 1 foot on vacation. You're just thinking about it, 1 foot out the door type of thing. Yep. I'm pumped, man.
You mentioned him being focused. I thought he was a little more relaxed too, just kind of seeing him in the hallways and working his way around to the different interviews. And he was, joking around, having fun. We'll play this 20-second clip. Here he was giving us some props here at Bronco Nation News.
What do we call this right here? Radio Row?
Yes.
So,
although this is kind of where I don't even know what this is, a podcast, a webcast. It's not really radio, but we'll call it that.
As I look around right now, you win the award for best scenery and decorations. It looks nice the way you set up here, making Bronco Nation proud.
I wouldn't call it scenery or decorations. It's studio. It's actual stuff here. It wasn't decorations, but
that was a nice setup.
Yeah, we appreciate the sentiment from Coach Avalos saying that we had the best setup there, and we did. It was actually a little too much. We had the lights, we had the backdrop, we had people the first day kind of giving us the look as they walked by. Who are these, wackos? But I think we, and again, obviously it wasn't. And everyone kept saying, "Oh, great setup," and I said, "We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works." And sure enough, first 5 minutes it didn't work. But we figured
didn't test it, or you did, or
we
what?
did test it. I used the same mixer Friday at my house that I had used. That I used down there. For some reason it wasn't in great shape, but we fixed it. We got it going, and we're all good. But I agree. I think not only was he focused, but I think he's just seems more relaxed. Year 2, man. He's been to media days. He's been to the coaches' meetings. He's been to the pre-game meeting with the officials, stuff that he never had to do with. Like, there's just when you're the head coach, Johnny. I mean, we don't even have any idea what actually it entails, but that coordinator to head coach jump is a huge jump, and it does seem like everyone says this, the head coach, you actually coach way less football. You're dealing with media and the academic people and the nutrition people and the compliance people and all these different people. And you're meeting with your AD every week and all this stuff. And you're basically the CEO of the program, and all the assistant coaches do most of the actual coaching. We heard midway through the season about all that stuff with the Bronco way and all that kind of stuff, and trying to get back to the bread and butter of Boise State football and what it takes, the dedication and all this stuff. It just seems like everything's coming together much better in year 2. And it feels like Andy Avalos made some changes to his coaching staff, figured some things out. He just does feel like he's in a much better place going into year 2.
And also, I don't know, you probably remember this. This was one of those press conferences. I think it was the end of the year presser when he put up those graphs in the team meeting room of how they improved in the running game and all that. Remember that press?
It might have been signing day, I think. Yeah.
Yes. And he said that, when you get your first head coaching job, you want to hit the ground running, especially when you're not going to a program that's been lousy. Most head coaches, you get your first gig, like my boy Jason Eck up there in Moscow, and you got a lot to fix, right? You've been lousy the last few years. Andy didn't have that situation. They were in the Mountain West Championship game in the COVID year, the year before Avalos got here. And I can't remember who Andy said, but he said he talked to somebody and they said, really, it takes about 18 months.
Coach Pete, I think it was Coach Pete.
Pete Peterson told him that. Yes, it was. It takes about 18 months. Now, everybody wants to win that first year, of course. And you're going to say and try your tail off to win that first year. But a lot of times, like Coach Avalos was saying, it's an 18-month thing in most cases. And, if that's all true, then I think what you were saying seems spot on as well in that regard, man.
Hey, let's get to this Taylen Green talk and some other stuff. But I first want to thank a couple of our great sponsors at Bronco Nation News. Lithia Ford of Boise. Compare, shop, finance. You can do it all online at lithiafordboise.com. I will soon be a customer at Lithia Ford.
Which one of those rigs would you drive first and foremost? If you could pick one of those rigs.
Karen Karen thinks it only makes sense for Bronco Nation News to have a Bronco.
Okay.
She doesn't look at the price tag as much as I do. But I would take
she's the one who has all the money, man. She doesn't have to.
She's making the money as a traveling nurse right now. So yes, she gets to make those decisions. Definitely. Depending on the color, I could maybe go for the Bronco, but I think I'd probably go for just a good old truck. Definitely not a car guy. SUV, some sort of SUV or truck probably, but I will be making that decision soon. We're looking to purchase a vehicle here pretty soon. My truck is going down quickly, so I will be making that purchase at Lithia Ford Boise. Check them out, and you will not be disappointed. Idaho Central Credit Union as well, ICCU.com, the official bank of Bronco Nation News and the Raines family. The mobile app is so easy for the mobile deposits, all that great stuff. You can check them out online, ICCU.com, or find a location pretty much on any corner near you. And, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. You've been on my patio, Johnny. They've been out there. They do a great job on the back patio, in the garage. They can transform that kind of just ugly-looking cement slab into a very nice, professional, really nice job. And so check them out. Check them out, rowpaint.com. They've also touched up the siding on our house as well. So if you need residential painting done or commercial, industrial, or as I said, the concrete coatings is their big thing. It's 4 times stronger than epoxy. Check them out at roepaint.com. And we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. And Bronco Nation News would not be possible without their support. There were a couple interesting news and nuggets that came out of media days, Johnny. And there was a clip here. I asked about Taylen Green, and I know he's kind of been a popular figure on this show for numerous reasons, but you're talking about the second fastest player on the entire team, a guy that we all think could be a starting quarterback here for multiple years, and a guy that we think could have a chance at the NFL in a couple of years just because of his size and his skill set. He was already wooing scouts at Pro Day last year when he filled in for Hank Bachmeier and was throwing to Shakir and some of those guys. I believe, and I've been on the record as saying, I believe he gets some sort of package, some sort of role this year. I put the over-under at 3.5 plays a game, and I think he gets somewhere in the 3 to 4 to 5 plays a game, whether it's a full series, whether he comes in for a couple plays at the goal line. I believe Taylen Green will have a role this season. I'll put it this way. I think they'd be crazy not to. I think he deserves to be on the field and play, and I'll let you jump in before I play the clip from Andy, but we finally had a chance. You know how it is at media days. You get these different times to talk to him. He came on our show, but then he goes in the print room, and it was just a couple of us sitting there for basically an hour, and you can ask questions you never would get to ask in a 20-minute presser. And so you get more things like this. And we had about a 2-minute discussion on Taylen Green, and I wanted to play that here in a second. But first, your thoughts on Green.
Just quickly, are you still going to subscribe to your theory there if Vidlak wins QB2? Do you think even though Sam Vidlak is number 2, they'll still have that package for Taylen because they want to obviously use his skill set and incorporate that into something they want to do offensively?
I'd like to say yes. I'd like to, but that'd be kind of weird for your third QB to be playing and not your number 2 QB.
Right. Anyway, just a thought there.
Yeah, but he talks about that battle for number 2. Here is Andy Avalos at Media Days talking about Taylen Green.
We feel very confident with being able to have stuff that is tailored specific for him, that he does really well as he continues to grow himself into the entirety of the offense. But the potential to do that, we're in a situation this year where we're going to go into fall camp, and him and Sam we're going to get to see some great action between him and Sam, working with the twos. And Sam has as good as grasp of this offense as any guy that's played in it for the first year. And it's going to be fun, to see what's going on. We're going to have to make sure, again, that's why the depth of all these other positions is so important too, because who needs all these reps? The quarterbacks, right? The quarterbacks need all these reps, but if we don't have enough depth at these other positions, how do you get the quarterbacks the amount of reps they need to build the cohesiveness, the chemistry between the O-lines, not just the first one, the second one, the wide receivers, with the quarterbacks and all those things.
I don't remember the one year you left, but when there was Rip and then Kozart would come in and they'd have, they were okay just giving him a series here and there. I mean, are you a guy that's in favor of finding a way to get Taylen Green on the field, or would you rather just one guy, if Hank's the guy, then you're not going to mess with his rhythm or anything?
No, I mean, we are always in the full mode of if a guy deserves a role, then let's make sure he has a role. Let's find the value, right, and being able to mix it up. Deserving a role means that he's dependable in what his role is and be able to do, and it's going to help the team. So if it helps the team, then heck yeah, let's go.
Do you see that? I mean, do you see a guy probably might get a couple snaps a game or something, you think? Or?
If he keeps on the trajectory, he is. It's exciting. It's fun to watch him. He's worked extremely hard. All the quarterbacks have. All 3 of them, they're in there all the time. It's pretty cool to see. They're hanging out in the offices. That's the other part. Just being out of some of the protocols we were in last year, where you couldn't even have guys up in the offices, as much as we would love them to be. Now they're in there all the time. It's just fun to be around them.
Now, a couple things there, but first of all, I keep forgetting, and Andy Avalos has brought it up numerous times, not as an excuse, but just to talk about how different it's going to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the email we got the night before the first fall practice last year, where all of a sudden they were closing practice due to like an outbreak of COVID, and they ended up having to like cancel a couple of the practices. They started late, I believe, and then when they did, they were missing a lot of guys. A lot of, this was not a normal fall camp last year for Andy Avalos' first fall camp. I mean, the spring wasn't the same. The fall wasn't the same. They had a lot of COVID protocols last fall where they had to, like he said, couldn't have, full group position groups in some of the meetings and couldn't all come to his office. And I had forgotten about how rough of a start they got off to, where they couldn't have normal practices like the first 2 weeks of fall camp. So I'm not saying that, that was the reason for the 7-5, but that Andy's brought that up numerous times, and how different it's going to be this year at fall camp, where they're not having to deal with, how many guys are in that room? Okay, well, how many guys can do this? Okay, well, we can't have a full team practice yet. We got to split it up and all this kind of stuff. And they won't have, 15 guys missing the first 2 weeks like they did last year. And so I don't know if that, contributed to anything, but I think that was interesting. But a couple things. He said Vidlak has as strong of a grasp of the offense as any quarterback that's been through it yet here in the past year. So that's saying he's on par with Bachmeier in terms of the grasp of the offense. I'm not saying he's going to beat out Bachmeier, but I think it's notable that from a mental side, it sounds like that's where Green still has the biggest way to come, right? Green has the physical tools. He has the physical skills. It's just developing as a quarterback and continuing to grasp the full offense, not just a package of plays. But he said, hey, we're going to have some good competition there at the number 2 spot between Vidlak and Green. And I said, hey, do you see Taylen Green getting on the field this fall in some sort of role? And he said, if he continues on the path he is, yes.
Yeah, you kept pressing that, VJ. I like it. You kept saying, well, does that mean he's going to have something here? I like that. That was a good exchange there. The interesting thing will be, because I don't believe there's a battle for QB1. Nobody's battling here, okay, JPZ? I think it's going to be Hank, obviously, and we heard Tim Plow say this last year too, in any quarterback competition, you want it over sooner rather than later, because you want like the back half of fall camp just with your starter getting reps like your starter gets reps during the regular season. 80-90% of the reps, you give it to your starter. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to handle this battle for QB2, right? And to see when they want to announce that, if they're going to announce it. They don't really have to. I mean, how about this? When the depth chart comes out, it's going to say Hank Bachmeier, and then QB2 is going to say Taylen Green or Sam Vidlak. Remember how they put the "or" on it sometimes when they don't want to make like an official depth chart?
All the time.
So that's probably what it's going to be like. And they don't have to tell us, hey, here's our backup quarterback. I mean, I know you and we'll all be asking who won QB2 when we get to Tim Plow and whatnot, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do handle that race there. Quick little question off topic, kinda. How valuable do you think Vidlak will be in prepping for Oregon State, both offensively and defensively? They haven't made any coaching changes. Sam Vidlak knows that playbook. He knows that personnel. Do you think he's an asset in that regard moving forward? Maybe we can do a story on this as we get closer to that game. I just wonder, you don't see that in college football anymore. Remember, they didn't let you transfer to a school that you played. Oh, we play them in 4 years. You can't go to that.
Or if they did, you had to sit out a year. You
Yeah.
don't transfer in the very first game at your new schools against your old school. That's pretty rare.
How valuable is he going to be in that regard, do you think?
I mean, what as the freshman quarterback last year, he was probably the scout team quarterback. So he probably went against the number one defense a lot. So I think there's probably something to that. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And that seems like a John Mallory question. Weren't you the one that asked one time about a lefty quarterback preparing for Dylan Gabriel? Wasn't that your – I mean, you like these kind of stories like this. So I do think there probably is something to that. I'm sure Danielson and some of these guys are trying to pick his brain a little bit, or he can kind of let some guys know and let the quarterbacks know what he's seen from the defense. I mean, both sides of the ball. I'm sure there's some questions going on there, but certainly in terms of how to read their defense and the things that they like to do, I'm sure in the meeting rooms when Tim Plow's talking to those quarterbacks, I'm sure Sam can say, well, they like to do this, and if this doesn't work, they tell them to do this. And I'm sure there's some things that are probably helping both sides.
Danielson too. He can talk to Spencer Danielson. So this is what offensively. This is what this check means. This is what this verbiage means. This is that, and here we go. Like, maybe Spencer Danielson can pick a thing or two from Vidlak's brain. I don't know, just saying.
And this is what D-Rock says, Johnny. It could be like the 2011 season. Southwick was the clear number 2 at the time behind Kellen, but Hedrick actually saw quite a few packages in games as QB3.
I forgot about that.
Because of the skill set he brings to the offense.
I forgot about that. And I remember when I would see that, and I would be like, Pete, I love you, but you're taking Kellen Moore out of the game right now. Who's this guy? What are you doing here? Just keep Kellen in. But anyway, what do I know?
So who knows? Maybe. So there is precedent, I guess, at least where QB2 actually doesn't play and QB3 does. If QB3 is the one that can.
It's tough if, like everybody's saying, and you said it too, like the best overall athlete maybe in your program, if you don't have a role for him in 2 straight years where he just sits there and does hand signals for the starting quarterback the whole time, and you don't have anything there. And I'm not saying like, have him return kicks or something. I don't know if you want someone of that value putting in a position there, or I don't know how they're going to use the kid, but I think I'm like you and this whole fan base. We want to see this kid play. I want to see him tuck it. I want to see him run for a 40, 50, 60-yard run. A couple of plays in the spring game. We've talked about this. Taylen was out of the pocket, and they blew the whistle, rightfully so, but you're thinking, oh, if this is 100% live, that kid has a pasture of blue in front of him on this. That would have been a huge play. And that's kind of the one thing since Hedrick, Boise State hasn't had that quarterback. Cozart a little bit, I think. Henderson a little bit. But that quarterback that can really beat you on foot. And I think Taylen Green, when and if he gets that opportunity, can maybe become one of the more mobile, if not the most mobile quarterback this program's had in a long time, where it's a big part of the game plan for him to beat you on foot.
Yeah, I mean, he had in the Fresno State game, he kind of surprised us and came in and have a 17-yard run on his first play. And you're thinking, oh, man, Taylen Green, all right. But then he gets sacked 2 plays in a row because he doesn't get rid of the ball or doesn't know what to do. So there's some give and take there. Hey, Transportation Compliance Service, check them out if you're looking to get into the trucking industry. If you want to become a truck driver, looking for a new job, check them out, TCS, transcompservice.com. They can help you with the permits, all the things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. And we appreciate their support. The Blue and Orange store as well. Fall camp right right around the corner. Get all that new Nike gear, all that great stuff, the blueandorange.store.com. Free shipping on any order over $40. So make sure to check them out. Free shipping, any order over $40. And if you're in town, just go check them out. Boise Town Square Mall, right there next to Pro Image. So in 10 seconds or less, do you want to see Taylen Green come in on like 3rd and 1 or goal line? I mean, do you want to see Taylen Green in some role this year? Would that screw up Bachmeier's rhythm, that kind of stuff?
It could, I guess, but no, I personally, I want to see him. I'm going to be sitting up in the Paul J. Schneider press box with you. And when we see Taylen run in, I'm going to look down, and BJ, look what we got. I mean, I can't wait to see it, man.
You know how it is in the press box. Every time a guy like that comes in the game, everyone's like, Green's in at wide out. Green, everyone in the press box, Taylen Green. Everyone kind of moves forward in their chair a little bit. I mean, it becomes more exciting. What's going to happen here? Taylen Green's in the game.
Yeah, JP, get away from the cookies, man. Taylen Green's in here. Come on and sit down. Let's watch this. By the way, the Blue and Orange store, I saw they had these white Buffalo Bills Khalil Shakir jerseys. Oh, those were sick looking, man. I'm surprised I don't see a bunch of people walking around town wearing those. But
I think Jay already ordered 2, man.
Okay, they were nice, man. These Shakir jerseys at the Blue and Orange store. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it.
And he had a couple. He's had a couple of good days at camp, I saw as well. So hopefully things are going well with him. Hey, 3 to 6 today, we'll be listening. Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the ball game. JP, Bob, the whole crew. 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. You can check them out on the KTIK app, the new KTIK app, as well as KTIK.com. Appreciate JP for helping get us on the air. Johnny, appreciate you as well. And we'll be listening 3 o'clock today, man.
Thanks, BJ.
There he is, John Mallory. And again, listen to him 3 to 6 today on Idaho Sports Talk. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. If any news breaks, we'll have it for you today. If not, we'll see it at 9 a.m. Jay Tuss will join me tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News Live at bronconationnews.com. Have a great day, folks. We'll talk to you soon.